Okay, day 200, part 6. Well, I watched about 2 hours of the Senate Intelligence Committee, and the things that stood out in Dan Coates' original statement was that the opioid death problem is now the #1 killer in the United States. The other thing he mentioned was the threat from Pakistan. He talked about the nuclear threat, he talked about the China threat, he talked about narco-terrorism from Pakistan. He talked about terrorist raids into India, terrorist raids into Afghanistan by Pakistan. So Dan Coates knows there is a threat. The director of the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency, said he needed more troops. And other senators mentioned exploitation attempts. So my point in this series is that if you allow a proven ISI Turkish kind of team go after your soldiers and your soldiers' families, the veterans' families of the United States of America, through the needle, not the bullet, like they've done in several other countries, at least 20 that I can name, you're setting up your own people to be attacked in kind of a soft jihad way. And this is outlined as the #1 problem. Now, in this series, I have compiled lots of citations and lots of sources identifying exactly and specifically who, what, where, social security numbers, addresses, connections to businesses, connections to funding sources, connections to money laundering, connections to various rat lines overseas. And that has been going on for 200 days. I very specifically identified people with top secret clearance in the United States government that are still working for Debbie Wasserman Schultz today, will still have that access. All of the extra forces that we could put into Pakistan and Afghanistan are worthless if there's an intelligence leak that we know exactly when our patrols are going to be there and when our coverage is going to be there and when it isn't going to be there. So my focus is on the intelligence side of this, not necessarily throwing more hardware at the problem. And I believe that the Awan brothers and this leak of Pakistani intelligence would have been the #1 priority that the Senate Intelligence Committee would talk about, addressing the #1 problem in the United States, which is opioid addiction, opioid deaths. There was another senator who mentioned the number of online illegal pharmacies, 18 to 20 a day being opened. Again, I have identified specific rat lines through animal pharma, the use of animal products to repurpose for individuals, as well as several other fake pain clinics. So I think we have to look at the priorities rather than your political agenda.